Number one thing we have to do when we prep our skin is Fix Plus. I absolutely love this setting spray and I feel like it's so good for actually not only setting your face but using as a primer spray. It just is so effective and I find that my makeup genuinely lasts a lot longer. Now the trick here is we want to wait for it to fully dry down. So in the meantime, I'm going to share with you guys the next product we're going to go in with, and this is the Fenty Beauty True Matte Pro Filter Primer. One tip I found is that once you use a mattifying primer, your makeup lasts really long, especially along the T-zone. You don't want to be really, skimpy and just use too little about that. You want to use quite a bit. And whilst it's mattifying, because it's like a moisturizer, it kind of sits into your skin, so you really want to lather quite a big layer, and that actually helps the makeup settle in a lot better. So I like to go in with a really healthy 2 pumps, and you get around this much, and I just concentrate it on the center of my face. So what I like to do is I really like to massage it in, especially where the areas are a bit more porous, and I massage it in like so. I like to apply this like I apply my sunscreen, so in little layers rather than just going in and going really crazy like it's moisturizer. So yeah, all the areas where I'm normally really oily, I like to just go in to those areas and make sure they're taken care of. Now I still have a bit left. Now what I do is I just take it on my fingers and also apply that around the perimeters of my face, which is already a bit drying, but this way it just makes the makeup a little bit more cohesive. Now I want to share with you guys the base products, and I feel like this is the step that really changed my makeup game, especially when I have drier skin. This might all seem really counterintuitive, but during winter when my skin is drier, I actually like to use mattifying foundations. But here's the catch, I don't use powder on top of it, at least not a setting powder, because I feel like the more you layer on, the more chance of products caking is going to happen to you. And just by applying cream that are mattifying, it's actually going to help the makeup last longer because it's not moving around and mixing with each other. It's just settling into your skin, and that actually helps it just wear so much longer and look so much more flawless. And especially for me, as the oils of my nose I kind of seep through a little bit, it makes the makeup actually last a bit longer. So I like to use 2 different foundations. This is just like a side note. I like to use a lighter foundation on the center of my face and a darker one on the perimeters to create that natural contour. So we're going to go in first with the Giverny Milk Check cover, and this one's great because it's SPF 30 in it. I love this foundation and it's really high coverage as well. I just go in with 1 pump, and now I get a bit lazy. You can actually use your spatula and spread it out, but what I like to do is ring finger, and I like to just really go in there. You can see I flatten the foundation a little bit, and here I get a thin layer on my ring finger, and I just spread it out with my hands like this. Now again, you want to start at the center of your face. I like to really press it into the nose and slowly drag it out. Same thing on the other side. You want to keep it as even as possible. So then same thing on the forehead, press it into the porous areas, drag it out like this. Now right now I'm just mapping where I'm putting the foundation, so I'm not purposely blending it through. And what's really great about this foundation is that whilst it dries down mattifying, it actually gives you quite a bit of room to play with the foundation and spread it out. It doesn't immediately dry down upon application, which I love. Now we're going to take our darker foundation, which is the Misha Magic Cushion Cover Lasting. And what we're going to do is, I get really lazy. I literally just take this puff and spread it out. So I treat this like it's just any sponge, and I just pat out whatever I've already put on my face. Okay, so now I look really pale on the center of my face. Fear not, we're going to take this slightly darker foundation and we're just going to pat through the perimeters. And what's good about this is that because I have foundation of the lighter color, this makes it a more seamless blend rather than it just looks like, I put on 2 different foundations. So it's a very subtle color difference. I'm using, for reference, in the Milk Check foundation, I'm using the shade 22, but now I'm using the shade 23 in the Misha. And this Misha foundation actually does oxidize just a tad, so it will look a bit more darker throughout the day. And I actually like to press what's remaining on my eyelids, and I like to use the darkest shade on my eyelids, because that way I feel like it just creates more like dimension as well, because your eyes, you want to draw attention to them, so it's good to have a darker base compared to, you know, the center of your face. Now normally you can stop there, but I feel like lately my dark under eye circles are really there, so I'm going to take a little bit of my lighter foundation on the center of my face right here and just pat it out again. Our base looks actually so good right now, and what I love about this is that because it's mattifying, it just looks really flawless, and you don't need a powder to go on top of it because it will self-set, and the setting spray we used earlier will really help lock these products in. Now, if you are someone that is extremely oily, I recommend now actually going with another layer of your setting spray. I don't need it right now just because it's winter, so I'm going to be a little bit more drier than my usual combo skin, so we're going to leave it here. Now we're going to actually go into the eyes. We're going to wait for the face to dry down a little bit more, let the foundation really get used to itself, and what we're going to do is just focus on our eyelids. Now here is a hack that I learned. A lot of our mascaras are not waterproof or budge proof. It's actually not because the mascara is bad, it's because there are oils on our eyelashes. So right now, after we applied the foundation and everything, that is oil based, so it will make the mascara move around. So what we want to do is actually lightly powder that. Normally that wouldn't be an issue because we have our setting powder, but because we didn't use powder today, we're going to use an alternative. We're actually going to go in with our blush. So I am actually using this really light colored blush from my Amuse Vegan Face all palette. This is in Peach Glow, and this is a really beautiful matte with slight shimmer, so almost a satin shade. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take a fluffy brush, dust off the excess, and just apply that all over the eyelids. This takes away the shine and adds a base color to our eyes, because either way we are going to have to put down like a primer and base shade for our eyelids, so we're going to use the blush because it makes the face so much more cohesive. The trick here is to use a very softly pigmented blush and just dust it all over, and it's okay if you go underneath your eyes as well, because most of us do like to smoke out our shadows, especially me, quite a bit. And the purpose of this is really just to actually give a light dusting on your eyelashes so it stays longer. Now I'm just going to finish up my eye look and we'll come back for the next tip. We are back and the eye look is complete. For the eyes, I actually use my NARS Ignited eyeshadow palette, and I use that for my eyeliner as well. I'm back into the eyeshadow as eyeliner, just multi-use, and I also actually use my eyeliner shade for my eyebrows, just a quick dusting. So that is what I use. This shade here, it's a little bit purple, but it's so subtle and it ties in with the eyeliner. I just use the mixture of these 4 shades for the eyes, and I absolutely love it. Very simple. But now what we're going to do is, because I took a while for my eyes to be done, the face has set down really nicely, and we're going to use our blush. This is such a fun process because what we do here is we take our blush shade and we literally just tie it in with our eyes. So I like to go pretty high up to here and just dust it. And what I like to do, this is the crazy part, I sweep it over my eyeshadow. So this is why you need to do your eyeshadow and not do your mascara right now. Just that, because I like to do that little sweeping effect so everything really blends in together. And you guys know I love a more subtle eyeshadow and something more neutral and everyday, so just doing that sweep is absolutely fine. If you have an elaborate eye look though, probably don't do this, but like just having the base tie in with the blush already looks so good. Another thing I like to do is, because this also has a highlighter shade, I just dust it like once or twice and I sweep it over the cheekbones like this, and now we're going to take the blush shade again. Because it's so subtle, you can really layer this quite a few times. Just go over where you would put your blush, a little bit on the nose as a mini contouring, chin, forehead, and that is basically it. This is all we're going to do to set our face today, because this is essentially powder as well, and you're being a little bit redundant if you're just setting your face and putting more powder on. I feel like this just works really well for me. Now that we are done with all our powders and dry makeup, we can go in with the wet products, which are our brow gels and our mascara. For brow gel, I'm going to use a clear one. This is my Makeup Max Brow Guru. This one's really good, and I've been testing this out for quite a few days now, and I feel like this is so amazing for just keeping your brows in place and because it's clear, you really can use it with anything. I absolutely love it. If you're going for a clean makeup, this can even be for your mascara. I think this is an amazing product for the price, and Makeup Max is honestly so underrated. And yeah, this is the brows. I have already curled my lashes off camera, so we're just going to go in with some mascara. And you guys know Heroin Make, it's just the best mascara and I'm so in love with it. And we are back. I also put on a little bit of a lip gloss and some lip liner. I used my beloved Clio, this is coffee brown lip liner, and I used a little bit of my Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Moon. I love this combo and I love how glossy it is. It just feels so comfortable. Genuinely love this gloss. One of the best from the drugstore. But this is the makeup complete, and I want to do a recap of everything that we just did in this video. I think the main takeaway is literally not setting your face. I don't know why it took me so long to figure this out, but just using a mattifying primer and foundation actually sets your face for you, especially if you have drier skin, and it is completely redundant to set your face and then go over with more powders. It's just going to cake, and the more layers you have, the higher the chance of it caking, so don't do that. And also, always dry your eyelashes. That will make sure your mascara stays all day and it will look so much better that way. And another thing I want to say is setting spray as a primer. I've been doing this for ages now and I can see a difference in the longevity of my makeup and how everything just applies in general. It just looks so much nicer. So that's all the main takeaways. Doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, this will make a huge difference in your makeup, especially if you have combo oily skin. And this really will just be so good and life-changing. I know that sounds really dramatic, but honestly, I wore this basically exact makeup last night when I went out with friends. And when I came back, it was like 5-6 hours later. My makeup looked so fresh, apart from the lips because I was eating. And it just looked really amazing. Normally, it would have caked. I would have noticed my pores. But this time, it looked absolutely gorgeous. So yeah. This truly has worked, and I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did like today's video, please give it a thumbs up or even subscribe to my channel, and please let me know what type of videos you would like to see from me next. But aside from that, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys for the next one.